Alrighty, gang. So we are almost done with the beginner mastery course. Last video, I just made you guys experts on how trends work. And the next thing I want to go over is support and resistance. This is a concept that is very, very simple, yet extremely effective as a beginner trader. And it's something that we all still use today, regardless of our level of understanding or expertise as traders. So the first things first, guys, is that the rule of thumb with identifying the trends is that you want to find areas that have a lot of price activity. Now, the support of a trend, the support of a trade, the support of a market is going to be determined by the price activity at the bottom. So support in trading is the floor, whereas the resistance is the ceiling. So support is the floor and resistance is the ceiling. Okay, this is going to help you trap price. Okay, and this is really important because when you can kind of trap price, now with your understanding of candlesticks and trend lines and things like that, it's going to really help you, now identify where the market is, and it's going to help you pinpoint what you probably want to do. Now, there are a couple rules of thumb when looking for a support, and the support usually is going to be a previous point of resistance. So in this situation here, this used to be resistance, but as you can see, price then flipped and began to use this as support. So a good indication of identifying an area of support is that it used to be a previous area of resistance. Now you can kind of see here by this little rectangular box that we trapped price to this little support zone. You have resistance, support, 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 support. Now a support line represents a specific price point. Like you see here that this horizontal ray is a specific fixed number, 51626, whereas this rectangular box represents more of a zone. Now that's something that I'd strongly recommend that you implement because having a specific price point is very, very crucial, but also having a zone helps you kind of see things with a slightly broader perspective because the market is never going to be perfect. You can have a perfect strategy in an imperfect market, so it's just really important that you can kind of identify and trap price correctly. Now once you use the horizontal line or the horizontal ray to determine your resistance area you're looking at, you can kind of use this horizontal box to fit in the zone and help you see price a little bit clearer. So a good rule of thumb of when you're looking for an area of resistance is that you want to see at least 2 to 3 price interactions for each area. When you see the first 2 interactions, that's going to show that price is still creating a fresh area of resistance or support. So the next thing you want to identify is look for 2 to 3 price interactions with your support and resistance levels. Okay, that's going to be pretty much the foundation of looking at support and resistance. You can identify this on any time frame. So when you see 2 to 3 price interactions at least, that shows that the area is still forming and is new. After the third interaction, 3, 4, 5, the probability of this area is very, very low. Now, what you ideally want to do, guys, is that you want to buy at support and you want to sell at resistance. Now, the only time that you'd want to buy from resistance is essentially if you're trading a breakout, like over here, for example. So sometimes like this, right? This is what we call a breakout. Now, you can buy at resistance only when price uses previous resistance as a new area of support. Now, if you were to come in here and buy the breakout, obviously you can't really anticipate, how much the movement's going to be, but you can just use your technical analysis skills that you're now developing to start to understand how it works. So you can buy at resistance and you can sell at support, but only when price is breaking through that area and no longer respecting it in that zone. Like this would be right here, another example of price doing that for a sell. This is a breakout when you would buy at resistance, and then this is a breakout when you'd want to consider selling at support. So, you can see that support is generally designed for an area that price wants to respect and stay above. But if price, doesn't want to stay above support, kind of how it did over here, it stood above support here, boom, 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 look, 1 and 2. And then on the third interaction, you see price just blew through that area. So the first 2 to 3 touches or interactions with an area is always going to give you the highest probability for succeeding with using that as your entry point for a buy or sell. Now, ideally, guys, you just want to trade with the trend and react and adapt. If price decides to break through this area, you can use your sell stops to put below the previous low, and you can enter there. Or you can enter off of a break and retest when price comes back up and retest previous support as resistance, kind of like what it did over here. Retested previous resistance as support. You see resistance, retest right here, then you can enter and buy that. You can buy that. You can buy that. Now, generally, guys, 2 to 3 interactions keep the area fresh. You can, obviously trade breakouts with support and resistance. It helps you trap price. You don't have to be right all the time to make money. You can think that, hey, maybe I want to wait to see if price comes to this area and I'm going to sell it. But if price breaks this area and now you see that the market wants to push up, well, you already did your job. You already identified where the area was. All you need to do is shift your bias from sells to buys. Generally, we're taught we want to buy low and then sell high. But then sometimes you can buy high and then you can, sell even higher. So there's a lot of different misconceptions when it comes to understanding support and resistance. But the pillar of support and resistance is, I would say, 2 to 3 price interactions with this particular area. Keep in mind you have support lines and support zones. Lines are fixed points, zones are general areas. The support is the floor and resistance is the ceiling. And then 2 to 3 interactions should be your best bet when you're trading a trending condition to go ahead and take your entry. So when you're trading a trending condition like here, price is coming up, making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, boom. So right here, when you see a higher low forming with an area of support, that's when you actually want to go ahead and look to take your position. That's when you actually want to look to go ahead and take your entry. Your stop loss should always go below the low of the wick that you're entering. And then I would say, your take profit would be open until you can kind of determine where that area would be. There's various methods and tools used to identify, potential price extensions. But in this situation, the resistance was formed after this break, and then you see that the area where price came to became now resistance for 1, 2, 3, and then 4 price touches. So you can obviously trade the reversal 1, reversal 2, and reversal 3 back down to the area, and then now you can use the previous support or previous resistance as your take profit for the following positions. A lot of information, but now you guys are transitioning, towards beginners, and by the end of this course, you're going to be, approaching the intermediate stage as a trader. I hope you got value from this video. Support, resistance, and trend lines are definitely going to change the game of how you view the market. And then when you can identify candle patterns and these areas, it's just going to increase your odds significantly. So try to look for, areas where price intersects a lot with support, resistance, trend lines, and you're going to see that your success as a trader skyrockets significantly. So that's pretty much it for support and resistance. Remember, support's going to be the bottom and then resistance will be the ceiling. But if price breaks through resistance, then there's a chance that previous resistance can now become new support, as it did right here. Previous resistance now becomes new support, okay? So on and so forth. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you got value from it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.